Hello.
Hello.
I have two audios. So far, so good. So, did you guys hear any lightning or thunderstorms this morning?
Yeah, our power was out.
It
Oh,
was out or is out?
It was out. It's back.
Which,
It's back now, thank goodness.
okay, I was about to say that's a really bright flashlight that you have there. Okay. Soon to hopefully have Holly and Danny on board.
we're watching the draft.
Ooh.
Texans pick Strauss.
Oh, okay. They went with the quarterback, not the defensive player.
Yep.
What do you think?
Think it's a bad decision
Why?
because he's an idiot.
I don't know anything about him. How do you know about him?
Oh, just his little quarterback test. He failed it by a lot.
The what do you call it?
So it's not the Wonderlic anymore.
Oh,
It's called something else, and now it's out of 100 points. And you want your quarterback to get at least an 80, right?
yeah.
He got an 18.
Oh my God.
18?
That's
18 out of 100.
that's Vince Young territory.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let me see if I have anything from them. See anything? Usually it's Christine that has the trouble.
Yep. I got it this time.
Good. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. And if they buzz in, we'll bring them up to speed on whatever we've talked about so far. I'm going to fire up the chat box. Okay. And I want you guys to rate your week 1 to 10, or I should say 1 through 6 or 8 through 10. And reflecting on what you did last week. Help me out, Christine. You had a 6 last week?
No, I had a 7 last week. Or no, I had a 5 last week.
A 5. Okay. Maddie, what'd you give yourself? An 8?
An 8, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 6 and 6. The new ratings are in. Okay. So tell me about that. That suggests that there's some challenges going on. So who went first last time?
Me.
Okay. Christine, go first.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'm just struggling all around with my food. I Now that I'm getting the amount of food I'm supposed to be getting, it doesn't feel like I'm restricting anything, I guess. Just trying to get all of my carbs, which, I've never been or more recently, I've not been, carb free by any means. But now just like having the amount of potatoes and rice and things like that, I'm not seeing how it's going to help me to lose weight at the same time as, increase my performance or anything like that.
Right. Right. And you're adjusted down to, are you down to 12 now?
Well, that's what we talked about last week, but I still tried to get the 14.
Yeah.
Um, and so, like I said, I'm not feeling like I'm cutting anything out of what I've been eating prior to this.
Right.
Um, So I don't know. I guess I feel awkward.
So, so was your weight steady in the weeks leading up to this?
Yes.
And you feel like the volume, the quantity, the quality, everything's about the same?
Yes.
Okay. So,
So I think a lot of my issue is I struggle with portion size. And this is not these are even larger portions, I guess. And so I'm having a hard time just kind of feeling it out, maybe.
right. Your situation, you know, it may be a little different. It's you've got a pretty big amount of muscle mass. We need to make sure that's fueled. But if you want to try to convert more of the stored energy consumption, then that means cutting back a little bit on the carbs. And even if that means I would rather take the ratios down and take the points, the overall points down, irrespective of the carbs, fats, or proteins. I think that
Okay.
might be a better play. And it's easy to do if you just back off a little bit on the starchy carbs.
Yeah.
So why don't you just take, you know, what you're making and put the starchy carbs in half, eating the same amount of vegetables, and see if that gives you, you know, do that for a week or two and see if that's giving you the movement that you're looking for.
Okay.
So just take this, okay, keep the fats where they are, keep the proteins where they are, keep the low glycemic carbs where they are, and just cut the starchy carbs in half.
Okay.
And do it to the point where you're a bit hungry between meals. I mean, right now it sounds like you're never hungry.
No.
It's coming at you too fast. So, you know, I think your muscle mass is so, you know, it's pronounced. I mean, you're very, very strong, and you might be off some chart for women. You know, the average woman definitely cannot deadlift 325 pounds. So,
And then, you know, it doesn't help either that this week, rather than focusing on loss, I've been, you know, trying to keep my amounts up because I'm preparing for this comp
yeah,
on Saturday.
yeah,
So it's been a weird week in
yeah,
general.
yeah. And you can still be, you know, do you do pre-WOD for something like that?
I will on Saturday, yeah.
Okay, is it something you've taken before?
Yeah, and I don't react very much to caffeine, I'll be honest. So, most likely I'm gonna do there's this other one that my husband got that doesn't have caffeine in it. It's all more electrolyte and, you know, whatever, normal um type of energy things. I'd have to look at I can screenshot the label or whatever for you, but I used it last Saturday.
Does it have any of those special ingredients like beta alanine or anything like that?
It might.
That there's certain things that are vasculators. They open up your blood vessels in a good way. It's kind of a nitrous oxide reaction, and it supercharges people. Beta alanine is one of the ingredients that does that. Citrulline is another one I see. So I see those two ingredients in a lot of different pre-WODs. And usually they have a lot of caffeine, but if you don't feel the caffeine, do you drink coffee a lot?
Yeah, every day.
Okay, so maybe you're desensitized to the caffeine. Those other ingredients are cool, but the main advice always is don't do anything new that you haven't done before. Because not bad things could happen, but it may have an adverse effect on your ability to consume nutrients during the day, which you need to do.
Okay.
Like y'all need to eat something between workouts.
Yeah.
And it can be like a piece of fruit or, you know, some starchy carb. But you definitely don't want to, you know, honestly, when I do a day-long competition, I'm hitting the pre-WOD before every single competition workout. So
Yeah.
I better know what I'm doing, and I better know the quantities that work for me and everything else. So, but you don't have to carb load in the CrossFit world unless you're
Mm,
doing RF or something. You don't need to carb load. So I
okay.
wouldn't worry about keeping the carbs up between now and Saturday.
Okay.
If you do anything that makes you feel the slightest bit weak, you can cure that with one meal or
Okay.
or just a banana or something. So, all right, Maddie, why are you a six? And
Um,
I'm not saying you're a six. You just told me your score is six for this week.
I went out of town this weekend, so I feel like, you start off the week, you start this whole thing, you start so strong, and so focused, and then when you like immediately run into something where you don't have as much control, it's kind of like when you get back, you have to really like shift your mind, set back,
Right,
really quickly. So just like getting like once we got back into town, just like, okay, now we're back, we're focused again. It's just hard to make that change. So while I don't think I like completely derailed, it's just one of those things where you come back and you're like, okay, now I didn't have time to meal prep necessarily, so that's a little funky, and then you just kind of grab at the quick things, and I'd say that it just makes it harder to like be consistent.
right. Over the course of the program, you're going to be learning some tricks of the trade on, how to have a backup plan to your
Hmm.
normal plan. There's at least one module that focuses on being on the road, traveling outside your normal environment, and how to survive that, how to order at restaurants. And I don't think that's been on y'all's list yet, but you'll get some of that information. It's all standard steady state stuff, but sometimes when you look at best practices and that, it gives you ideas on ways to get around, those kinds of things. Christine, help me out. What's that? I'm trying to blank on there's a bar, um, like a nutrient bar. It's not a protein bar because it's balanced carbs, proteins, and fats. And I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's been around a long time.
Not
Uh,
the Luna or the RX bar or
yeah, maybe it's RX. Maybe it's the RX bar. That
Well,
the one that says it brags about having, it's got six almonds, three
yep.
dates, two things, and a bunch of love or something like that. So RX bars are balanced just like this program's balanced.
mm,
So maybe if you have another one of these coming up over the next 4 weeks or in the future, maybe
yeah,
you have some of those stowed away for your emergency backup because those
yeah,
are shelf stable and they don't really melt if you get them hot. They do a little bit, but not as bad as some other bars do.
yeah,
So that's a go-to. And then maybe there's some powders. Obviously, the protein powder. If you squirreled some of that away in your luggage, you'd be able to
yes,
do that. Just mix it with water or milk. And then obviously if you have access to a grocery store, it's easy
yeah,
to in the cat there. But anyway, I'll look around and see when the vacation slash work trip modules are coming, and I'll
yeah.
let you know.
I think the one that we had yesterday where it talked about the wheels, and how you like build upon each level, that really helped kind of like reset, because it doesn't have to be an all or nothing kind of thing. You can,
Yeah, that's a good one. And there's one next week that's coming up that's like, don't worry, you screwed up, it's okay. So so they should have that every week probably. But
Yeah.
yeah, you had the margarita, but you didn't have to have the margarita bowl. The 24 ouncer. You didn't have to
Yeah.
have one, but yeah, okay. Also next week, there's a lot of documentation on sort of planning strategies, and you guys can look through that. Oh, people usually adults have their own favorite ways of mapping their goals out and strategizing around them and breaking it down to increments. This is a template that if you don't have one that you like, this might be one that y'all could use. So take a look at that stuff. It's got downloadable, printable tables and things you could fill out. Basically taking a 6-month goal and breaking it down to what or maybe a year-long goal, breaking it down to quarters, to months, to weeks, and then all the way to days and hours of the day. So anyway, it's a good, it's like every day next week, you're going to get an incremental building block on that program delivered to you. So before I want to let y'all know what next week's challenge is, but I also want to find out. Okay, Christine, I saw you had taken a photo of your menu for this week, and Maddie, it sounds like you were busy, but if you can just circle around and get something on the community page, you can
Okay,
just,
yeah.
and you can do it. Could be next week's stuff, but once you have stuff laid out, some meal prep stuff, just take a
Yeah.
picture of the whole thing, and you can look down through the community feed to see what people had done in the past.
Yeah.
The most spectacular one is Michael Marchand, who was in this program in one of the iterations last year. He's the guy that runs Whitehurst Farms. So he had a spread like of the gods. It was just beautiful. It had the juices and the eggs, of course, and the meats and all the stuff that they had, the vegetables, and he had it all laid out. So he was showing off a little bit. And Christine, you need to come around. It doesn't have to be this week. You've got your point, but eventually show us some pictures of your food too, which is always fun. If y'all make something that looks spectacular, every now and then it does, then take a picture and put it on and show everybody. And some of us will want the recipe for sure. So next week's, oh, by the way, Holly and Danny, if you're listening to the recording, then you need to go back to this week and or put the entries in. I'll give you a few extra days to put the entries in on your meal prepping for the week. And if you didn't do anything that you still can record, then when you set it up for next week, then put something on the community page to get your points. Okay, next week is going to be a physical activity. I'll just tell you, you'll see it on Sunday, but the challenge for next week is to do 100 reps of something new. And it can be anything. Obviously, we're thinking, when we say those words, we're thinking of something physical, not just tapping your pencil 100 times or something, but doing something in the gym or outside the gym or around the house or whatever that sounds like fun and maybe gives you some benefits as well. We had one person last year do 100. They took a pickleball racket, because there's going to be a pickleball challenge later in the program, but they took a pickleball racket and a ball inside the gym and banged it up against the wall 100 times. And that's valuable because you're learning the technique and the feel for that size paddle and that type of wiffle ball when you're hitting it on the wall. I do that sometimes when I've got some time to kill between classes or something. I'll bang pickleball slams on the wall, which is kind of fun. Anyway, that's what's coming next week. Did y'all get a chance to watch the James Clear video? It was the all or nothing thing.
Yep.
Maddie, did you get a chance to watch that?
Not yet, no.
Okay, I'm going to, this is kind of a spoiler alert, but I want to show you just a little, like a 1.5 minute segment that was the favorite part of mine that really resonated with me. So I'm going to share my screen And you guys tell me if you can see it. I'm going to blow it up. Okay, you can see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can get this going. Hold on.
By tracking it. We often fear that in order to achieve something new, to become someone new, we have to abandon everything that we are. But in fact, that's not how it works. Change can happen plank by plank, board by board, habit by habit. And gradually, you can become someone new. With consistency and repetition, you can actually change not only your results, but actually your identity. Is because the more evidence that we have for a belief, the more likely we are to believe it. So if you go to church every Sunday for 20 years, you believe that you are religious. If you study Spanish every Thursday night for 20 minutes, you believe that you are studious. The actions that you take provide evidence for who you are. And it's not that habits matter more necessarily on an individual basis. Each moment in life matters. But what ends up happening is that over the broad span of time, things that you do once or twice fade away, and things that you do time after time, day after day, week after week, accumulate the bulk of the evidence for what you believe about yourself. And so every action that you take is actually a vote for the type of person that you want to become. If you want to become someone new, then you can take a new action and begin to accumulate evidence for that identity, for that belief about yourself. And that the more votes that you cast, the more likely you are to win the election. You don't need to be unanimous. You don't have to be perfect all the time. You just need to have the body of work, right? So true change is actually not behavior change. It's not results change. It's not process change. It's identity change. The goal is not to read a book, it's to become a reader. The goal is not to write a book or write an article, it's to become a writer. The goal is not to run a marathon, it's to become a runner, to become a type of person, to develop an identity. And the way to being something or becoming someone is through doing something. So every time you sit down to write, every time you practice that habit, you are being a writer. Every time you play a sport, you're being an athlete. Every time you practice painting or music or whatever, you're being an artist. Habits are not only the method through which we achieve external measures of success, like losing weight or gaining more, earning more money or.
Okay, so anyway, that to me was the one that hit the most obviously. Just resonated with me. I love the thing about casting the votes for who you want to be. So did y'all see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'll make sure Holly and Danny see it too. So Maddie, I would suggest you watch the whole thing because the guy, I mean, he's obviously far more articulate than I am. And he does a really good job of that stuff. So I really enjoyed that video. There's another one coming in a few weeks that's really terrific, and I'll be pressing that one hard as well. So anyway, your assignment is to watch this thing. It's 8 minutes long total, and then pick your favorite part.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah. So that saying of his, I keep meaning to post it somewhere because I really like that. So I might put that on our big. We've got a big calendar at work. I might put it there. Okay. So let's see what else I have. Talked about the content, the planning strategies and tools. Talked about the challenge. Talked about the menu posts. That covers everything I wanted to talk about. What do y'all want to talk about for the next 6 minutes?
I don't really have anything.
Okay, that's good. You know, we had some good conversation about the issues that you're facing and maybe a strategy for resolving them. And yeah, and Maddie as well, the travel thing. So my action item will be to look and see what travel or work trip type best practice type things are coming along. And Christine, your job is to go kick some serious booty
Yeah.
Saturday and
Thanks.
come back with a medal around your neck. That's
I do my best.
That's what we're looking for. And I will be at the gym running the 8:30 class. I tried to get Jenny to run it, but she wasn't into that. She wanted to work out. And then she's going to be doing the on-ramp class. We've got some people signed up for that. So
good.
And she did that last week and did a great job. So we're making great progress there. Anyway, I'll sign off now, guys, and thank you for your time, and look forward to seeing how next week goes for y'all. I desperately want to get y'all off of 6.
Yeah.
You got to make the leap to 8 somehow. So hopefully next week will be that week.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
goal.
All right, sounds good. I'll see y'all tomorrow. If I don't see you, Christine, tomorrow, then good luck. I know
Yes,
you'll.
good luck.
Thank you.
Send photos. Send photos.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All
Okay,
right.
see y'all.
Bye.
Bye.